All right, coach, on to Stonehill. Now, last season, they win the first set, they go wire to wire. You get 7 blocks that game, but you have to kind of come back and win those next 3 sets. What do you do to get your mind right after the first set doesn't go your way? Turn it around.
Always about just refocusing, and for me it's always about just kind of shaking it off and focusing on what I personally can do better the next 3 sets. Never doubting that you can win the game. Like, you don't lose the first set and go, well, that's the game. It's not how it works. You should change your mindset to going, I got to fight even harder to get these next 3. um, Winning in 4 once you lose the first set, you don't ever want to go to 5. You don't want to have the mindset of go, well, they can take 1 more. We just need 3 more. You don't ever want that mindset. You want to get the game over as quickly as possible. So when you lose that first set, it's kind of about shaking it off yourself and then making sure you're gathering in with your teammates and making sure the 7 of y'all or however many constant players are in the game and really just your whole team are back on the same page and making sure we're all stepping up our game. And if someone's having a bad game, either a personnel change or just helping your teammate out. Say she's struggling passing, but she's having a great hitting and blocking day. Just as a teammate, trying to help her out in that aspect, and so on and so forth. And really, it's just about changing your mindset and understanding that you got to fight even harder from this point forward.
Yeah, and one thing about Stonehill last year is the non-conference schedule is probably they did a little bit better than they did in conference. They hit one of those slumps. So kind of a similar question, but couple of games get strung together and losses in a row. What do you do to pull yourself out on, I guess, more of a macro scale then? It's not just one game, it's been a couple. What do you do to turn things around in the season?
It's kind of going back into practices and as a coach identifying like what are your team's weak points at the moment. It changes throughout the season for everyone, whether you're on a win streak or lose streak. There's always some part of your game that is lacking compared to the other parts, and maybe you start the year off great passing and by the end it's struggling, or in the middle it's struggling and you want to work hard to get it back, or maybe you're blocking struggling in the beginning and then you start focusing on that and it's peaking in the middle of the season. It's all about going in from like a coaching standpoint, identifying what in your player's game needs to be improved, and developing a practice plan to help give them as much tools to elevate their game as possible. And then from a player standpoint, going out on that court for practice and really focusing, locking in. It starts in practice, that winning mentality, and trying to find it back in yourself to keep fighting to want to win. It's easy if you are in a losing streak to just kind of get used to losing. It's a mental battle alongside the physical battle. It's also a mental battle, and just getting in there and staying as a team together, staying cohesive, and fight, starting in practice to fight to win. And then once you get back in the game for your next game after a loss, not worrying about the previous loss. It doesn't matter anymore. It's over. It's about winning this next game and taking it point by point, making your games small. When you're going set by set, point by point, not thinking at the overall game, and then going back to worrying about the little things of your next practice.
Coach, I love underdogs. I love being an underdog. I look at Stonehill, no first team players last year, no second team players. I mean, is there an identity that can be built from that? Is there a hunger that's going to come from that lack of recognition last season?
For sure, it's always about just being who you can be as a program. So last year they may not have achieved what they wanted to achieve, and so this upcoming year, coming in the year hot, not coming in moping, but coming in strong and aggressive, and understanding that kind of with a underdog status that they may be overlooked by some teams next year. Depends on like a different team's mindset, but coming in and using that to their advantage, they can hit preseason hard, learn all their preseason games, and when they hit conference, it could be a totally new team atmosphere and team chemistry and strength or smartness that they had last year. So no one's ever out of it, especially in the NEC. So it's all about just coming in hot and ready.
New York's the Big Apple, but Easton is Shoveltown. Here from there, we have joining us Stonehill coach Craig Martin and Mia Berardino. I want to thank you both for coming on today. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. Glad to be here. But first things first, you have big news. Stonehill is now a full D1 program. You're eligible for the big dance. You've made it. So, what's that change for your program this year?
I mean, overall, I mean, I think it ultimately brings up our timeline for what our goals and expectations are. But I think, right from the get-go, from our announcement that we were making this transition to Division One, like we had a goal of putting ourselves in position to be in the top four of the conference and give ourselves an opportunity to make the conference playoff, and then take it one step at a time from there. I think just having that, knowing that it's out there that we are able to make the NCAA tournament is great. But ultimately, we got to take it one step at a time and take that first step of getting into the playoffs for the conference first.
And Mia, you were a co-MVP on this team last year. You were a captain last year. You've got to be taking on a bit of a leadership role, but you have this opportunity where Stonehill has been kind of overlooked so far in the preseason. I love these underdog teams. What can you do to rally the troops and be a leader with this setting?
Yeah, I'm super excited. We have 7 freshmen coming in and a JUCO transfer, so we have a lot of new faces, and we're super excited to get started and just kind of build that new team culture that we know we can get. We're all super competitive, and we really see us going far. So it's just establishing that early, and building confidence in everyone, and just knowing we can do it this year.
I mean, Coach, from your perspective, there's nothing better than being an underdog. Can you use that as a motivating force?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have to bring it up. So the fact that the preseason poll came out and people saw where we were ranked, they were a little bit hurt by that. So I think ultimately, I think we are confident in ourselves, but you have to prove it every single day at the Division One level. So as much as early in the season we believe in ourselves and we know we can do it, we know that we again need to take it one step at a time. We need to make sure that we're working on the basics, making sure that we're focusing on what we need to do to get better. But then, yeah, ultimately, I'd much rather be the underdog than be getting chased by everybody else. But I also don't think that at this level, I don't think you're ever going to play anybody that's going to be sleeping on you. Everybody's sort of looking at every team thinking like, all right, we have to play our best to win this game. And we have to have that same mentality. We have to play our best to win.
All right, so Mia, looking at your stats last year, statistical anomaly, least sets played, but most kills you've ever had in a season. So, what do you do to take the next step here as a senior?
Yeah, I was a little bit injured last year, so I had to take some time off, but just keeping aggressive. I think I really worked on a lot of my out of system hitting and really being aggressive when not in systems, just keeping up with that. Still trying to be a threat with back row attacks and just keeping aggressive, hit when I can.
And Coach, one of the things you really like about Stonehill is last year kind of an uptick in wins. It wasn't that long ago, 2021. You're making the NCAA tournament in D2. So, what do you do to kind of take that uptick? You've got improvement from last year. What do you do to get that to the next level, that top 4 this year?
Well, I think ultimately we felt like we had quite a few wins that we left on the table last year, and I think a lot of that is experience. So obviously having Mia, I know another year older, being a senior, having our sophomores now juniors, and everybody else that sort of goes along with it. Yes, we do have a lot of young players, but I think we're better from an athletic standpoint. Just our overall athleticism is a little bit better. Just sort of that overall scrappiness. So I think some of those games that we couldn't pull out last year, I think we have more confidence in. We also obviously need to go in having the mentality that every other team that we're going to play has gotten better. So I think we obviously just have to take the lessons from every single year and make sure that we are taking it one game at a time and making sure that we are not overlooking anybody ourselves, regardless of what those preseason polls say or regardless of what people have done against other opponents. We just have to take it as, okay, here's what they're capable of. We need to assume they're going to play their best game every single time they come and play us. And we need to make sure that we are focusing on us doing the same thing, bringing our best game every time we play everybody and not just taking it for granted that, oh, we think we're better than them, therefore we should win this game. Because that's just not the way it works at Division One. Everybody's going to be good. Everybody's got good players, and anybody can go on a quick little spurt of points and sort of pull away and make it tough for the opponent.
So, Mia, you're a leader on this team. I mean, what do you do to kind of help pull everyone up instead of leaving those games on the table, getting them into the win column? What can you do?
I think just stay calm. I think sometimes last year we could get a little bit frazzled or not sure what to do if we felt like we're in those situations. Just staying calm and just having confidence in everyone to know that we can do it. We can. So just go out there, stay calm, play our game, and tell everyone we'll be okay because it's the truth and we will.
And Coach, a couple times last season, Stonehill gets that first set, isn't able to close out the game though. So what's got to change? What do you think your team can do better this year to get? Okay, we're up 1-0, close it out.
Yeah, again, I think it all comes down to down to mental preparation. I think from a team perspective, we're working very hard on that this year, going through a mental training program that hopefully will allow us to be in a more calmer place when we're in those situations. I think it's great to come out on fire and play really well in set one, but then obviously once you do that, if a team had been sleeping on you going into the match, they are no longer sleeping. They're going to wake up. We have to find ways to maintain that level of play and energy from ourselves while also expecting that the other team is going to improve and play better. And when it comes down to that tight match, we have to be able to stay poised and earn those last couple of points because the other team's not just going to give them away.
It's such a mental sport too. Mia, getting outside the lines of the court though. Stonehill, I saw, was involved in a program called Team Impact. And I saw the senior day photo. There's a teammate you guys have called Sadie who's in that photo. Of course, you're behind the camera. You're not in that photo. But what's it mean for the team to be participating in a program that connects kids with chronic illnesses to Division I athletes?
It was great. Building a friendship with Sadie, I think, was the best thing that could happen to our team. It not only brought us closer with her, but us closer together as a team in general. We got to do a lot of things with her. She got to open up and share a different part of her life with us, and it kind of opened up something in us too. And it just showed the importance of just being connected, and we kind of use that also to help us build our team culture as well.
And Coach, I'd love to ask you about it too. You're not just a coach at this level, you're a teacher. You're teaching about more than just wins and losses on the volleyball court. What's that something that you're able to, what's it really do for your team to be able to bring an experience like that in?
Yeah, I think a lot of it just brings maturity. I think it's a different thing to all of a sudden, have a responsibility to be able to nurture this young person and be able to help them out. Obviously, Sadie, is going through something that sort of puts her into this program, but she was fantastic. She was a really spark of light every time she showed up. She's always smiling. So, but just, making plans with a family, and even if it's something simple as, oh, we're all going to meet at this place and have lunch, or the team went horseback riding with her because she loves horses, and or at least watch her ride horses. I don't know if any of our girls rode horses, um, but ultimately, I think it just a little bit is just that sort of community service, giving back, but just managing your time and being available and making Sadie feel as though she's part of the team and important to our days. It just really brings some maturity to it.
Yeah, it's great. I love stories like that where you guys are able to give back. It really does underscore just how important it is that what you do as athletes and as coaches at the D1 level in these sports. So, Mia, I want to close it off with you though. I know you have team goals. I know you want to make the tournament. What do you want to improve on this year? What would make this season feel like an individual success for you?
I would just say continue to be a six rotation player and a leader when I can. I want to really work on my defense and my back row attacking and my passing, just be a threat in all aspects of my game, not just when I'm in the front row, and just help my team out as much as possible, whatever they need.
All right, I love it. Stonehill might be a little bit slept on, at least for set one, but looks like they're bringing a lot to the table this year. Looking forward to seeing you guys play. And Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.